Crossbowman! Greetings YouTube, welcome to 0AD Newbie Rush. I'm Jim Cogan and we start paused because there's a very brief pre-ramble to this episode. This was a game I was supposed to show last week. First week back at work, ran out of time, so didn't get to do a midweek game. Was planning to do a double episode, so two 1v1s, but as things have happened, I am not particularly well at the moment. Apparently I don't have COVID according to my LFT, but I've got something nasty, so I'm going to do one game and we'll see how that goes. If it feels like I'm about to pass out at the end of it, then this will be the only game you get. I don't know anything about this game either. I've not seen it in advance. It's one definite new player and one unknown. I guess if you're watching this at some indeterminate point in the future, then the game was deemed good enough for broadcast. My barriers for entry are quite low. As long as it's not a complete walkover, then normally I can always find something to merit in all games. So there's very, very rarely any such thing as a bad game. Let us see how this pans out. Like I said, if you're watching it, then I've obviously deemed it worthy for broadcast and you're in for a treat, I guess. Let's start the action and we'll see how we get on. So it is a small mainland Rhine Valley autumn biome. Don't know what the significance of the Rhine Valley is. We will find out. It all looks very pretty, doesn't it? And we have two players in the north. In the blue, we have the Philosopher, rating of 10,047. So that would be synonymous with somebody who's started playing 1v1s and possibly lost a few games. Could be a very inexperienced player. They're going straight for farming and woodcutting. And they don't look too inefficient, although they are producing female citizens one at a time. That may or may not be significant to how much they know about the game, or it could be just the build order that they are currently developed at the moment. They've not gone for any of the gathering upgrades at the moment, and we have an idle citizen. So I'm erring on the side of slightly newer player, maybe not quite natural with the controls of the game. We'll see how they get on. Let's look at the opponent. Down in the south, a bit difficult to pronounce this one. Noob, that's what I'm going for. Noob, playing as the Iberians. Just out of the interest, Ptolemy's is the Philosopher, so Ptolemy's versus Iberians. Noob, no rating. I'm pretty sure Noob knows what they're doing as far as controlling the game goes. They certainly seem to be clued up. I mean, you don't do the Iberians if you don't know what you're doing, so I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing. We have women on berries down here, farm with farm gathering upgrade. We have first house up there. We're not seeing an early population lead. It's even Stevens at the moment. We're also seeing external wood gathering over here. Nobody going in for cav. And they're getting the first wood cutting upgrade. So in terms of getting early efficiencies in terms of eco, it looks like Noob, it knows what they are doing. Let's have a look, see if we can see actual upgrades. Two houses down already for the Philosopher, so they look like they're going for population. Eco buildings, just the one storehouse. What have we got there? That's defensive buildings. Those are the natural walls of the Iberians. And the one upgrade that's been taken. Is that wood gathering upgrade still in progress? They've got that now. Where does that show? So that shows up here in terms of, yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, that shows here. So two upgrades to nil, as you can see, both in the overlay and in the side panels here. Population-wise, the Philosopher has the lead, though. Has a lead of 30 versus 26, and 11 of those are infantry. Are we looking to see some kind of a rush? Are they going defensively? They are producing lots of slingers, so possibility of a slinger rush, although they've not put anybody on stone to increase the number of slingers. Could be interesting. What are they making at the moment? They are making one more slinger, and then it's all women, and then another camel archer. So two different strategies being put in place. Still no upgrades visible for the philosopher. They seem to be going as is. And we have an interloper. We have some scouting happening here by Tapio Noob. He sent his horse in, going the long way around, looking to see if there are any soft targets. He's not really finding any. There's a lot of women in the middle. Bit much for one horse to do. And completely oblivious, I think the philosopher didn't spot them there at all. Will this filter into what Tapio Noob is planning for later on? 37 plays, 35, still all the infantry coming out of the philosopher's unit producing buildings. And nobody's gone in for barracks yet, have they? Nope. So we are 3 minutes 54 in. And it's a fairly sort of standard, it's a little bit of a slow eco build at this point. We see the tower go down. So, philosopher definitely erring on the defensive side of caution. The horses come around this side. Nothing but slingers there, so that would have been an instant death sentence if he'd have gone in there. And not much on the other side other than hunting, so interesting. It's good I've remembered to actually leave the unit silhouettes on for this one. I don't have the embarrassing thing of changing them. We have 5 women stood there. I'm assuming they can build a field, so this is idle time. And another 2 there and another 2 there. So a bit of mismanagement of units from the philosopher, a bit of naivety. Let's have a look at Tapio Noob's already gone in for farming. Not much in the way of idleness going on there. It looks like a very well-oiled machine. And first barracks going down as well. Where's that? Up there. So all around, just the kind of development infrastructure that Tapio Noob is putting into place looks like he will be stronger in the mid to late game unless something bizarre happens. That's my thought on this at the moment. We got in there. Nobody garrisoned. Just looking at the model on top of the thing. A little shield thing. I'd not noticed that before, but there you go. That's not an indicator that somebody's garrisoned in that tower. They are not, apparently. Definitely not. Right, let's see. It's now 49 at place 41, and Tapio Noob is phasing up. So early phasing up. I'm wondering if we're looking. I mean, the Iberians have the. They have the fire cav, don't they? So that is normally enough to win most fights if you can get there to producing them first. Overall, though, population leads still with the philosopher, who has still not got a barracks, but is producing at the same rate. In fact, it has opened up a lead of about 9 there. Interesting. What's coming out of the CC at the moment? It is 2 pikemen, 2 more pikemen, and 2 Egyptian women. But with the barracks coming on stream here for Tapio Noob, will we start seeing production in parallel? At the moment, he's only producing 3 at a time. It's Javeliers from the CC starting to build up that infantry. Also, interestingly, the philosopher has gone in for cav. He's got 3 of them. Let's see where the philosopher's cav are. I can see them already. There's 2 going out here. I'm assuming they are hunting. And 1 just stationary over there. Very easy to forget they're actually there, so maybe that's just to see if anybody's sneaking around that side. But all very civilized so far. Everybody's been very well behaved. No murder, death kills. We are 6 minutes and 54 in. I've fallen behind the magical 10 units per minute there. So production has been pretty slow. Still, things started to come out of the barracks now for Tapio Noob, but he's now stopped producing from the CC. Are we seeing any eco buildings? Let's have a look. Upgrades, it's pretty even now. Both have got the woodcutting upgrade, both have got first farming upgrade. Gathering, yeah, the baskets upgrade for the philosopher, so that will help their overall collection of everything. Still, that lead is it's under 10, but it's still a lead and double the amount of infantry, more or less. In fact, it is now for the philosopher. Has anybody gone in for any of the sort of eco buildings? Let's have a look. in phase 2? Not really. Nobody's put down... Well, it's only Tapio Noob who's in phase 2. He's not pressed ahead and produced a market. At the moment he can't. He's lacking the wood. So that's interesting. His wood gathering is pretty low, to be honest. Definitely focusing on the mining at the moment. So we've got the stone being mined. Let's have a look. Has he got enough fields? I'm wondering whether he's left himself short on fields. He's got a surplus of food. We're just seeing the philosopher has pressed the button on phase 2, 8 minutes, population of 70. So both, I would say the philosopher is probably at least 10 down on where you would expect him to be after 8 minutes. And Tapio Noob is even further. But I still like the general look of the infrastructure. There is the market going down for Tapio Noob. But 4 fields, is that going to be enough? I'm not convinced. Any extra farming upgrades? Not sure. Yeah. They're keeping it fairly even. Horses are on the move again. Are they still hunting, or is this an attempt at a raid? And they're actually camels. I think, yeah, they're coming round to hunt towards their own base. And we could have a confrontation here. Tapio Noob went in there, saw the enemy, and then quickly about turned. So they are close. There is not much no man's land between them. There is rather a large wood line here, which is going to be much easier for Tapio Noob to access. But the philosopher's got his own large wood line here. What we're seeing, tower upgrades. We're seeing, yeah, we finally see a barracks from the philosopher. We're now seeing Tapio Noob housed at 70, population of 72. So gonna have to hurry up and build some houses. Yeah, there they are. They're in production. But both sort of stumbling a bit. While it appears the philosopher has put his foot down in terms of production, there is very steady production coming from the barracks. There isn't parallel production, though there is now. Okay, so I'm expecting the philosopher's population to boom quite heavily. Tapio Noob has started raiding the market. If we look at military buildings, we see a forge or blacksmith has gone up right there for the philosopher. In terms of the eco buildings, it is Tapio Noob who's got the market, but both are holding fire. It's not like they can't produce the other buildings. As we just saw, yeah, intersecting the 2 camels, still hanging around at the top, looking at what's going on. This is a very heavy, in-depth scouting mission. I don't really know. Let's see if we can figure out Tapio Noob's thinking. I suppose he wants to know the boundaries. See what's going on. It won't tell him that much, to be perfectly honest. On the other hand, the philosopher has barely scouted at all. He's looked at these open areas. He knows where, for example, there is available stone. There is also more stone over there. So possibly an expansion into the middle here will give him quite a lot of strategic territory. Nobody looking like expanding at the moment. And it was briefly the philosopher who was pop capped on 100. He has sort of brought it back in line. He's reached the magical 100. So tying more in line with the clock now. But I'm going slightly ahead in terms of the upgrades. And if you hover over them, you see what everybody's got. Yeah. Don't get that for units. That would be really handy. We've now got a blacksmith apiece. What's that? That's the stables going down. So I think, presumably, the plan here is going to be phase 3 and possibly those fire cav. Oh, we're hearing some deaths. Where's that? It's in the middle, isn't it? Yeah, so Tapio Noob went up and killed somebody, lost somebody in the process. It looks like that was not their one and only cav unit, because they're making new cav units as we speak. But yeah, a bit of an incursion, but nothing major. What's that? That's the temple. Still not in a position to go to phase 3, whereas what are we lacking? Yeah, both are lacking one more phase 2 building. We have some idleness here. We have some pikemen not doing anything. That's not so good. So once again, we get reminded possibly that the philosopher is a newer player. He is producing in parallel from his barracks and from his CC, producing more women. It's got all the fields up. Still only the 4 fields. But the food count is still good. There were presumably extra berries to exploit. Lots of idleness over this side as well. Who are these guys? They're stood next to the swordsmen and infantry javelineers. So they're basically going to be doing the building. Lots of barracks going down now. So difference is quite marked. And Noob now going to phase 3, putting down a couple of extra barracks. Population of 107 is a considerable amount of distance behind the philosopher. Has got the first military upgrade. He has got the arrow shooting upgrade. What has he got in terms of his army? Has he got swordsmen and javelineers, but hasn't really got much to exploit that. It's mostly swordsmen, so it's interesting. And we're seeing more raids over here. Is this just scouting? They don't look like they're hunting anymore. Phase 3 not quite reached, although very, very close. Temple going down, so building slowly downwards. There's a defensive structure here. Looks pretty solid. It's going to be quite tough coming through. Maybe this area is a little bit on the weak side. So an outflanking maneuver, but maybe that's why that cav unit is there. Interesting. What's this? Is this hunting or just checking the borders just to see if anything's expanding out? In my experience, the middles typically are the ones that are a bit more vulnerable, and that is an expansion that is happening there. It's a military colony, and the philosopher has started the city phase, so expansion and switch to phase 3. Let's have a look at the stables a minute. I want to see what's coming out of there. So the unlocking champions is definitely happening. There are the champion javelineers that cause everybody so much trouble. And is this an attempt to try and get hold of them? There is Siege Workshop. There's nothing come out of it yet.
Yeah, see?
Settler cavalry being produced from the military colony. What's coming out of the barracks? Nothing at the moment. So in terms of the production queues, it's all a little bit quiet. Oh, the horses have come straight out, and they've come straight out to try and capture the stables. I don't know how they're going to do. Is Tapio Noob aware? He certainly is. So they're going over there to sort this out. You really don't want them pointing straight at the enemy. I think he should pull them out or he's going to lose them both. He has lost them both. Another 2 come out and suddenly they're shooting back. There is natural defense from this. He's got a tower, and the CC itself is bearing down on this. So strategically, this is a bit of a kill zone for blue. And it will curtail how far in this direction that Tapio Noob can expand. Trying to get the wider picture. Space has suddenly become very narrow. We're seeing the cav moving in on this side. I don't know what the lone, or it's 2 cav, not a lone cav. If it goes too near the walls, he'll get shot up. Is he just looking through to cause trouble, or just seeing what is there? Well, right on this no man's land. They're getting distracted, aren't they? And they're going in and they're trying to capture. I mean, these are garrisoned, so I'm not sure. Yeah, they're going back in now. So perhaps not the best management of the troops, but the lead is still significant, as are the military upgrades. That is the interesting bit. Nobody's got a fortress at this point, but there's one going up there, and the will to fight could be interesting. What have we got down here? Are the stables producing anything? They've only got individual cavalry javelineers. They are producing some champions very slowly, but the philosopher's troops are getting drawn out. Are they attempting to draw them into the kill zone? Is it a trap, or are they just emerging and still being pointed at the enemy build? It's hard to know what they're planning. Where is that siege workshop, and has it produced anything yet? Still nothing produced there. Lots of unexploited area there. Not heavy mining going on. Don't mine metal at all, to be honest there. Look, it's very strange. Must have got them from the market, I suppose. Both in phase 3 now, and that is a fortress going down for the philosopher. It's all centered around this middle area, and it's two very tight defensive structures. We got six of the settler cav coming out, and they're still going straight out. These buildings being shot at constantly. Building another tower. Are they going for a capture? You need to finish building that tower, surely. And I think being set up this close, there's a tower there that's shooting back at them. They're not going to capture it. The philosopher is going to lose a load of these troops if they keep wandering into this area, and still more coming through. So trying to mine here is a complete non-starter. You're in range of the tower. There are elephants. Look at this. They're stuck behind walls. So is he struggling to get them to the front line? If he starts sending the elephants in, the fortress is nearly up. Fortress over here is up. We have a hero for Tapio Noob. Has anybody got will to fight? No, nobody's got will to fight yet. But most of the upgrades now looking like Tapio's got them. Elephants are over here. And we're seeing a few more of those champion cav that are so deadly. And I'm not quite sure what the philosopher's trying to do. He seems to be trying to organise them into groups. There's two women in there. Presumably they're there for moral support. They're certainly not an attacking threat. Is he going to do anything with these guys? Or is he leaving himself wide open in the middle? They're now finishing building this tower. Not without being shot at the same time. Another tower there will be quite a stronghold. Nothing in the... nothing garrisoned in their fortress, whereas there's just a hero in that one. There are some rams now here, but not a clear route through. I suppose it might be able to sneak through the middle. It's a question on when anybody gets brave, and it looks like it's going to be the philosopher who is going to do the first large-scale attack. So in amongst that, there are some elephants. They all go in a big bundle. And here comes... Oh, we have a little attack at the top. They're trying to capture these... they're not going to capture that with just those few troops. The fighting's going on. And it's 12 kills for the philosopher, but losing units right, left and centre. The elephants are at the back, and they're being shot up by the fire cav. There they are. So I think this does not look good for the philosopher. More elephants have sneaked through from the north, but where are they going? Are they going straight for a CC? They are trying to take out a temple. They're going to get massacred. So 60 deaths for the philosopher, and for the first time his population is lower. I would say we're at 21 minutes 21, and this is looking very much like, you know, despite the fact that the philosopher structure here is not too bad, I think he's that far behind in terms of upgrades that any fight that goes on now is going to be very one-sided, especially with the production of those fire cav. You don't need many of them. I think he's got about 10 of them. And they've already proved... Oh, he's actually got 17 of them. So I would say if you've got 17 of those and 2 rams heading towards these delicate bits of the building, and again we're seeing through here, there is still that cav unit, but they are not going to see this. They're placed right on the edge of the map. There is another one there that might possibly see it. Huge pile of corpses there. That was quite an ignominious defeat. At the moment, if I were to put money on this, I would say Tapio Noob is going to hand the Philosopher's Arse to him on a plate based on that first bit of conflict. He's not got extra military upgrades. He's going to murder the Lookout. The Elephants come in, but I mean, the Elephants are not really much good against these guys. They're good against the Rams. But if they go chasing after the Rams, they're going to get shot down in flames, literally. Quite literally. And as predicted, it's another massacre over here. Everything that the Philosopher throws in it is basically dying within a few seconds. And next to no losses taken there by Tapio Noob. The Elephants are going in on the stables. They may possibly... be able to compromise Tapio Noob's ability to make the fire cav, but by then it could be too late. You've still got to stop these guys. They are just laying waste to anything in front of them. It's 105 kills plays 20. It's almost kind of embarrassing, isn't it? Look, that is how kind of overpowered they are. And they have lost one stable. They may lose the other one. No, it looks like they're safe. The fire cav out at this end, they're probably going to get lost now. But I don't think the Philosopher has got anything to stop the Rams and the fire cav here. All of his resources were committed up here. He is now 100 in deficit nearly in terms of population, and is just being taken out all over. There is an elephant causing trouble, but... I wouldn't have thought that Tapio Noob is too worried about it. At the moment, it seems to be a bit bogged in at the top, trying to capture houses and destroy them. Yeah, so this is going to gradually start hurting the Philosopher's ability to produce stuff. He's unleashed an elephant into the middle, but they are not going to get anywhere near the business end. There's plenty down here to deal with the elephants. There's nothing up here. They just stood there watching this happen. They're now got a clean run to the CC. So houses going to be destroyed. Yeah, there they go. And dribs and drabs being sent in. And it's just a lure, isn't it? It's like, here are the Rams. Send a handful of infantry in and they are just dying in droves. It's a kill-death ratio of 5.9 at the moment. The fire cav are deadly, absolutely deadly, and nowhere near enough military upgrades for the Philosopher. And if the CC goes, well, I mean, I thought it was a done deal before the CC fell over. There is another CC over there, but attack from the south now for Tapio. He's captured the elephant house, so the ability to produce the elephants has been taken away. I think they're going to capture the military colony as well, are they? It looks like they might do. Haven't got it yet. CC's gone predictably, and it's a massacre up here. There's a lot of garrison troops, but down to a population of under 50. They are going for that capture, and I think they are just about going to get it. They are trying to take down that tower. And this is a resigning position for the Philosopher. He's not going to come back from this. If he loses the CC, he's lost the CC. That, I think, is the end of all kind of resistance. So he's got the tower back, though, which is a bit annoying. And there is the resignation. So, pretty comprehensive. I think we knew, once the fire cav were brought into play, and the military upgrades of Tapio Noob were at that end advance. It looked like it was only going one way, and that was the way it went. Scores pretty clear on that: 10,671 play, 8,434. If we have a look at the various, it's going to be the killing statistics. Got a few kills towards the end, but 70 kills for the loss of 242. Every which way you look at it, the philosopher was comprehensively out-murdered by his opponent, and the kill-death ratio reflects that. It's dropped a little, 3.5, but if you're killing 3.5 to 1, you are going to win the game without a doubt. And I think we can see how dramatically the population's changed. Let's have a look. So this was the point of the philosopher's attack. And you can see there were some casualties in that initial fight, but they were the clear resounding loser there. From then on, they had no resistance. Fair play to them for building up an army and attempting to make the attack. They were not nearly strong enough, not nearly equipped enough, and didn't have the units that were required. They didn't have enough. I don't think they had enough of the range units upgraded enough to defend the elephants when they went in for that elephant attack. The elephants were right at the back, and they were picked off in seconds by the fire cav. And 17 fire cav did the damage. We'll look at the champion units. 37 of them there eventually made. And that was enough. Only 2 siege engines required to knock down the philosopher's CC. So, congratulations to Tapio Noob, and big thanks to Tapio Noob for supplying that game. It was indeed a good one. I think a lot of us probably identify with the position the philosopher was in. You feel like you've stolen a march, and you feel like you're developing well, and you go for an attack, and then you just hit something much stronger than you. So, you know, he had the numbers, but he did not have the strength. He did not have the upgrading. He did not have that killer ability that was really needed. If you're up against the Iberians, you want all your military upgrades. You want that will to fight, and you want the strongest units you can to try and repel. I think he had the right idea focusing on the stables. If he could have cut off the supply of the fire cav, maybe it could have been different. But by the time he kind of realised the significance of it, there were only those 2 stables, and they had produced enough, and that was the end of it. So I hope you enjoyed that one. It wasn't a bad game, was it? It was okay. Like I said, I think a lot of us will probably identify with the position the philosopher found themselves in if you've been on the wrong end, especially if you've been on the wrong end of fire cav. We'll see. We saw fire cav defeated in the previous 4v4 at the weekend, although I think that was more down to the overall makeup of the team that actually had the fire cav at their disposal. There were other factors at work, namely huge siege towers being sent over, 9 of them. But interesting to see. I have yet to really utilise fire cav, but I think that might be something I choose to look into. I don't usually like playing as the Iberians myself, because I struggle to get my boom going with them. But if you can get to that phase 3, they are a pretty potent weapon at everything from the looks of it. So maybe a new civ to try out going forward. I'd be interested to hear what your experiences of fire cav are like in the comments. Please do let me know what you think. Drop us a like and all the YouTube stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, please do drop a like on the video, subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. Remember, you can now download the replay files for the 0AD matches that I cover if you want to view them yourself within the game via the 0AD Newbie Rush replay archive. Links to that and a whole bunch of other great 0AD related stuff are available in the video description, including how to submit your own game replays for inclusion in a future episode. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.